Ohio State, winners of 24 in a row. Michigan State, 11-1, undefeated in Big Ten play. This is for the Big Ten championship, folks, and we're underway from Indy. And this will be Shelton. Gets to the 15, the 20, and the 30-yard line for the Spartans. And they hand it off. Here's Jeremy Langford. Cook will throw on second down. With time, over the middle and incomplete. 40-yard line for first down out of the shotgun. Cook lofting it up in the air, incomplete. And a late flag throw.
Pass interference. Defense, number 12. 15-yard penalty. Automatic first down.
And it's the correct call. Be precise as Devin Gardner was.
And they'll hand it off to Langford straight ahead. Langford bounces it outside. He's broken up a number of passes. Third in the Big Ten. Second and 10 of the 47. Here's Cook under pressure. Drops it off. It's a screen. Langford. Langford trying to get outside and does it. Lining up for the Spartans. Here's the play fake. Screen on the far side. Kings. And he's wrapped up. Cook handing the ball off to Langford. Backfield for Connor Cook. He'll sprint out of the pocket. Looking. Cook fires. Ball caught.
Lippett is number 14 in the slot. Just works to the outer edges and is able to push off a little bit on Tyvis Powell and create space and make the catch near the first down marker.
So on fourth down and short, Michigan State will go for it. Jeremy Langford, the single setback. And Cook pushes it forward and picks up the first down. Opening drive for Michigan State. Cook, play action fake. In trouble and goes down. Second and 18 at the 37. Here's Cook. Drops it off. Langford makes the first man miss. Looking for a crease and he won't get it. Terrific 19 at the 38. They need to get inside the 20-yard line. Here's Cook. He'll loft it up the sideline and a flag.
Flag right of your screen. Shazier puts the big hit on Langford, and while he's happy about the hit, guess what? He just cost his team another first down, and Langford's got out
6 for the Spartans, who run it again. Delton Williams around the corner. Second and 7 to the 23 out of the gun. Cook will float one up toward the far sideline, and it's on both sides of the ball. Cook underneath and incomplete. Good snap, clean hold, and good. Muma with the strong leg into the end zone. And the Buckeyes will take it. The quarterback of the Buckeyes. And he'll hand it off on first down. Carlos Hyde
around back there.
Second down and 4 at the 31. They'll swing it out. Here's Hyde. Catches it, gets his shoulder squared, and
very aggressive play by Waynes all the way at the top. Reads the coverage. He's covering, and then he comes up after he knows the ball's been delivered to Hyde and aggressively goes low to cut down the 230-pound.
Empty backfield. Miller wasn't ready for the snap. He has it. And he looked
for walking up. The snap came before Braxton Miller was ready for it. And now it's thrown off his timing. He panics a little back there after the ball comes to him on the snap that wasn't the snap count. And now he just pretty much gets rid of it.
Player will punt it from the 18. High snap handle. And he delivers a beautiful punt. And Garrett King signaling for the fair catch. First down and 10 of the 20. Here's Cook. Delayed handoff. Langford trying to squeeze through.
Sidelines and pound it.
And they'll hand it to Langford again. Running left. Langford with the blocker. And he'll stop. And they'll give it to him. He picks up the first down and more as he spins and keeps his feet.
92. Also number 94 is Michael Dennis. And there's Fonoti, their offensive tackle. Dennis is listed as an extra tight end. How about these dimensions? 6'7", 299. That's a tackle wearing an eligible number.
And it's a movement on the right side. Looks like it's the right guy. And 16 at the 31. Here's Cook. Over the middle. And caught by his top of your screen. Cook. A check down to Langford. Langford trying to get the first down. Back deep inside his own 15. And Sadler, high hanger. And Brown with the spot that we've ever seen in college football history. As Ohio State runs the ball, they get to the 20-yard line. Second drive for Ohio State. Miller pulls it out, sprints out of the pocket, throws on the run, and he's got Philly Brown.
There is no foul on the play for a personal foul.
A little juke step, stayed in bounds before the first contact.
Brown has a small stress fracture in his leg, which has limited his catches last couple of weeks. Now Miller on course with the receiver.
Loved wide receiver Corey Brown against strong safety Isaiah Lewis. And the ball was thrown a little bit short, which meant Brown had to break stride to try and come back and get it. That brought Lewis into the play.
And Braxton Miller runs it. And Braxton Miller is dropped. Here's Miller to throw. Miller in trouble. Braxton Miller sacked.
This is why the ball isn't thrown by Braxton Miller. Look at the coverage. Denard 31 outside. Denikos Allen underneath 28. 26 R.J. Williamson. Isaiah Lewis on the other side. Nowhere to go with the ball. But watch here. They form a wall right there. And Max Bulla, number 40, is also tracking Braxton Miller. Nowhere to run.
Johnson punting from the 21. McGarrett King's back at his own 22. Here's Kings backpedaling. And Kings hit with the Buckeyes.
Kick catch interference. Number 41 of
The Iowa Seahawks was the last time they had to do that.
Here's a handoff. Cook. And Cook looking. Caught! Murphy down the sideline. Smarty's got 6. 72 yards.
This is a well-thrown football. Watch the route from Mumphrey. He's going to break here, but watch how Connor Cook has to feather this football over the top of Pitt Brown and into the arms of Mumphrey. Brown gambles coming underneath. Doesn't get the football. Mumphrey.
16th catch of the season. Extra point up and good. If they can regain it on this possession. This ball sent into the end zone for a touchback. Buckeyes will have it at the 20. This Ohio State offense. Here's Miller, low snap, high, and high, tracked down. Miller fires. This ball caught. Philly Brown, hesitation, and he'll get it. All right, thank you very much, Aaron. 1st and 10 at the 35. Miller elects to run the football. He's got some running room, gets outside, picks up the first down and more. So Braxton Miller.
Have patience. You won't get the same number of plays.
Miller handing it off. Hyde. Here's Braxton Miller, and he's got 49. Ohio State 0 for 2 on conversions. Here's Braxton Miller under pressure. Lost it.
Elects to bring pressure. Watch the wave coming at him. Hyde picks up the outside guy, but Bulla comes inside of him.
Cameron Johnson will punt it away inside the 20. McGarrett Kings back deep. Beautiful high spiraling punt. Kings will give it a shot. Breaks the first tackle. Still on his feet. Dancing. And he'll cross the 30.
They're right in front of the Michigan State section.
And he'll hand it off. Langford running left. He'll spin
towards the Ohio State sideline.
Second down and 5. Langford again. Hot forward for Michigan State. Connor Cook over the middle. And caught for a first down.
He's a big-time talent.
First down and 10. Play fake. Here's Cook rolling out of the pocket. Throws on the run. And it's
a terrific game. This is on the run. Look at this throw. And look at Mumphrey. Put a foot down. Now the question would be, did that first foot come down in the white or in the green? See the toe? That's a tough one. Take a shot.
First down and 10 at the Ohio State 33. Cook dropping back deep. He'll take that shot. Lip it. Touchdown, Spartans.
Lippett runs a little out and up. And he's running against C.J. Barnett, who is a safety.
Michael Geiger, extra point up and good. And
Michigan State wants it, but they can't start celebrating too early.
9:01 to play. And this is Dontre Wilson bringing it out of the end zone. And Wilson gets to
the... about to find out, and so far, so good.
First down and 10. Carlos Hyde.
Game inside to the slots.
Hyde in motion out of the backfield. Braxton Miller scrambling. Miller. He'll take it himself. Wants a block. Has a seam. Miller still running. Braxton Miller. Oh, my God, what a move. and Miller down at the 35.
And watch the improvement of Braxton Miller. Last year it was one read and go. Now still directing, orchestrating, eyes downfield. Once he made up his mind, he directed Carlos Hyde to block. And then he went downfield. Look at Evan Spencer, number 6, continuing to block and aid his quarterback.
First down and 10 at the 34. Let's see if this puts some life in this Ohio State team. Philly Brown breaks 2 tackles. Gets up the sideline. And they'll give it to Hyde. Straight ahead, he'll get to the... Miller. Drops back. Throws in the end zone. Touchdown, Ohio State. Point. And it's good. A terrific drive for Ohio State to get the Buckeyes on the board. Ellsworth and Shelton back deep. This is Shelton inside his own 5. And he'll get to the 21. Braxton Miller has led them to their first score of the game. And it's responding well to the 5-yard loss at the 17-yard line. Cook sets up in the pocket, throws, and completes. Yards and 2 touchdowns already. Cook will hand it off to Langford. He'll pick his way through.
The second best blocker up front.
2nd and 7. Cook rolls out of the pocket. Cook throws and incomplete. Here's Cook. Dancing. Cook. Looking. Cook. Incomplete. At the 17-yard line. As Mike Sadler sends it away. Left-footed punter. This one off the side of his foot. Picked up. Brown at the 20. Brown still running at the 30. And goes to the 31 for the Buckeyes. Here's Braxton Miller. He'll decide to run it with a huge opening at the 40. Miller still going. Gets to midfield. And finally out of bounds.
Not kill. In other words, you don't want to miss Braxton Miller. But they didn't close down the back gate right here. And Braxton Miller finds it. And once he sees it, he takes off.
And a quick strike, Philly Brown, incomplete. 10 at the 48 of Michigan State. Braxton Miller looking. Miller all day to throw it. Miller finally fires it toward the far side. Miller decides to run it. Gets through the hole, but doesn't go far. As Cameron Johnson prepares to send this one away from the 41. End over end. Darren Bennett, Aussie kick. And it's fair.
Plays that you can't really account for. And he's in the open field, dangerous.
Chase. 2nd and 13, Cook. Delayed handoff and nothing. Chase, Missouri in the SEC championship. 3rd down and 10. Connor Cook in trouble, and he'll just dump it. Sadler gets it away. Wobbly kick. Brown lets it take a bounce. And it takes a Michigan State bounce. And will die close to the 35. Braxton Miller, playful. Deep in the pocket. And he's sacked for the 3rd time. First half. Miller, high snap handle. He'll run it. Here's Braxton Miller. And he'll get. Here's Miller to throw it. Lines up over the middle. It's tight end. Hireman down at the 10. And the Buckeyes. Many people felt that the tight end would be a big issue for Michigan State.
Well, you're trying to avoid the corners, as we've discussed in the first half. So to avoid them, that means you've got to utilize the tight end in the slot.
Yards away. And it's good. Kicking off for Michigan State. Hall and Wilson back deep. And Johnson rolling out of the pocket, throws on the run at 10. And Hyde breaking through. Great run in Pasadena. He's at the 48. And Hyde again. And he'll get inside Michigan
since he's returned.
10 carries, 61 yards. Here's Miller tucked in with daylight. Braxton Miller cuts it inside. Still on his feet.
Watch, it's an inside play. Just waits for the blocking to form. Hireman, 86, 78, Norwell. And look at them. And then he just finds the gap. And now puts on the moves. Drummond was
48, 21 to 24 yards. And this is Carlos. Here's Miller. Thought about running it. Drops back. Near side. Ball caught. Devin Smith. And he lost it.
Check down to Devin Smith.
Now Miller running wide. Turns the corner with a blocker. Touchdown, Ohio State. So send it away. Ellsworth and Shelton back deep. And this will be Shelton. Gets to the 20, goes outside, and finally check the football at their own 29. Play fake. Cook rolls out of the pocket with time and throws. Should be a first down. Has been Ohio State that may be back on the ballot. Here's the inside handoff. The second half to tie it up at 17. Here's the option. Cook. He'll pitch it. Langford got his shoulder pad. Cook out of shotgun. Cook pumping over the middle. Picked up.
J. Barnett coming up and seeing the play and jumping the route. Ohio State.
Carlos Hyde next to Braxton Miller. He gives it to him. Hyde, first down.
And guess who else is back involved?
Here's Miller to throw it. He'll fire in the end zone. Deep, Philly Brown. Knocked away at the end.
That was excellent coverage. Watch Drummond. He's back here having to play against a slot receiver. Ohio State trying to make hay against the safeties of Michigan State. And Drummond comes up with a terrific play over the top. No interference.
10 at the 37. Miller running. And Miller.
To the wide side at the top.
Movement on the right side of the... Here's Miller. He'll fire it. Looking for Devin Smith. Oh, incomplete.
Into the no-fly zone. The All-American Denard. Smith has the step. Ball could not be thrown any better, but how about Denard? Sneaking a left arm in. Watch him. See him right there? Right into the pocket. And plays it as well as you can play it as a defense.
As they win that small battle. This one popped high in the air, heading toward the end zone. And he'll be downed inside the... Langford running right. And he'll be lucky if his forward progress gets him back to the line of scrimmage. Only 23 yards tonight. Here's Connor Cook passing out of his own end zone. Tough throw.
And the field judge Joel Clay and the line judge John Quinn all over this play. There's the catch. Oh boy. Now at the end he doesn't keep the football. So it's an incomplete pass because he doesn't complete the process. He drags the toe, yes. But see how the ball pops free from his hands? He did not
get the shotgun. Empty backfield. He'll sprint out. Throws. And he just now. Corey Brown back deep. Brown will get a shot. Backpedaling from the 45. Philly Brown. Bottled up. Turns a corner. And
Pat Elflein has carried the bulk of the game.
Carlos Hyde with daylight. Hyde still running. Uses his power. And out. Miller. He'll run it with blockers. Here's Miller giving it up to Hall. First down. And Jordan Hall. Hyde hops through the hole. And
offense, then throwing it.
Second down and 2. Braxton Miller. Looks like a touchdown.
I have not seen one of these plays where I never see a signal from an official.
And Basil in for the extra point, and it's good. 24-17 lead. Their first lead of the game. R.J. Shelton will take a knee in the end zone. Cook handing it off. Langford with some running room, breaking tackles, cuts it inside. Watch out! Langford. Beautiful run as he gets.
Watch how they make their move. Left side of the line blocks down, and he slips through. One missed tackle there. Now there's a chance in the open field, misses a second one, and scampers downfield.
Cook looking deep. Incomplete. In Akron, there was a pretty good basketball player that went there. Far side, ball caught by Pryor. Cook sprints out, shovel pass. Kings looking for the first down, and he won't get it. Here's the option. Oh, Cook keeps it and picks up a first.
And this is something we saw earlier in the game was their option play, and they come back with it. And as you noted, a good fake on Joey Bosa, 97. Watch right here. See how he faked it, and Bosa widens just enough to give Cook the crease.
2, first down at the Ohio State 27. Play action. Cook looks backside. He finds Gleicher, and Gleicher gets. Cook rolls out, tries to set up. Bosa there. Cook. Tip. Down.
Reeves in the slot, though. Defended.
Third down and 10. Cook over the middle. Incomplete. Clean snap. Good hold. It's up. Does it have enough? Yes, it does. Dontre Wilson from his own goal line. And he'll be wrapped up at the 20, at the 21. Miller, Philly Brown. High with an opening. The yard mark in his Ohio State career. Miller gets out of the pocket, throws up and incomplete. High running. This time, oh, look at that. Jordan Hall lines up with him. Miller keeps it, and he won't get it.
Missed player. Watch him on the field here. Plays forced by Denikos Allen, number 28, the outside linebacker.
Cameron Johnston will punt it away. And he got off another nice punt. King signaling for the fair catch. It has it.
He's gotten tighter on the receivers.
First down and 10. Cook to throw on first down. Off his back foot. Nicely done.
Bradley Roby has not been back on the field for Ohio State.
Here's Cook. He'll loft one. Nice throw. And it's caught. Kings crooks it back. Flag on the play. Kings down.
Spot. Gets the play initiated. And how about this throw? Over the top of C.J. Barnett and into the waiting arms of Kings. And right there, right in front, right there, 14 Lippett barely gets his hands on him. That's one I'd have a tough time swallowing if I'm Michigan State.
First down, though, for the Spartans at the 40 of Ohio State. Cook again over the middle. King ahead, 2nd and 3. Here's Cook. Will hand it off. This time it's Shelton. Flag on the play. See if they take a shot here. First down and 10. Cook hit as he throws. Incomplete. Cook. He'll take a shot this time. Incomplete and a flag.
Back and cannot see. Receivers considered open.
Pass interference. Defense, number 12. 15-yard penalty. Automatic first down.
Never got his head back around to play the ball and had his hands on him through the entire route.
Has found a groove. Incomplete, looking at it. He's lined up with Reeves. Cook runs the option. Pitches it. Langford. Here's Cook. Play fake. Cook with time. Wide open. Touchdown Spartans. Josiah Price
is well conceived because Josiah Price, I believe, is right in here. Watch him. He just kind of gets lost against the grain and slips through and gets behind the Ohio State for a touchdown.
And after last week's game against Michigan to play in the 4th quarter of the Big Ten Championship, and they'll kick it short. Loose ball. And it looks like Ohio State will have it. Great field position. Michigan State almost coming up with this when they gambled. Ohio. Miller elects to run it. Tries to get outside, but will not in motion. They'll hand it off to Hyde. He runs into a pile. He's faced with a 3rd and 6. Here's Miller. Drills it. Incomplete.
Watch, it's delivered well. Miller steps into the throw, and he is on target. But look at the play made by Denard, who comes up through the hands of Spencer after he catches the football and knocks it away. That's why he's the leading contender for
the night. For Cameron Johnston from the 30. McGarrett Kings has it at his own. First down. Cook. And he'll drop it off to Langford. Langford breaking tackles and finally wrestled down by Cook. Hands it off. Langford. And he'll pick up at the top of your screen. Cook over the middle. Caught first down.
Nice call by Dave Warner, the offensive coordinator of Michigan State. They out-tempoed Ohio.
Cook to throw it on first down. Pump fake. He'll lock it in the air. And incomplete. Cook Sprints out. Quick delivery, Langford makes the first down. Langford lines up next to Cook. Cook looking, incomplete. Sadler from his own 14. Good snap. And it's blocked. Buckeyes get a hand on it. It may have been Shazier.
But the punt was still blocked. Ohio State blocked one last year in their game against Michigan State and won by 1. And you called it
6'3", 286 pounds. Now Braxton Miller runs it. Miller. Carlos Hyde. Good jitterbug, 28 yards. Miller takes off. And Miller knocked backwards. He won't get it.
Got a bead on the play calling a little bit here. I'm talking about Michigan State. Because whenever they see empty set, their first move is Braxton Miller running the football. Draw or quarterback power run.
Title. Right now, Ohio State faced with a 4th down and a yard and a half. Carlos Hyde in the backfield.
If I'm Michigan State, I blitz inside to try and plug the run hole.
4th down. Here's Braxton Miller. And he won't get it. What a play to Nico Allen.
Nico Allen, the outside linebacker, forces the play, but fights off the block from Jeff Hireman, the tight end, and gets outside. Hireman's got to make that block in order for Hyde to turn upfield. He got his block. If Hireman makes the block there, I think it's a first down. There's Pat Narduzzi.
Pretty tall to give their offensive football. Langford breaks it outside. Langford with speed and out of bounds. Langford.
Come on, man.
The state is giving them hope.
2nd down and 10. Cook underneath and caught it. Cook to throw it. Sideline. Ball caught. Looks like enough for a first down as Lippett
Makes at the top, number 14 in green against Duran Grant. Grant tries to put his hands on him. Lippett pushes off of him to gain the distance. But the official said is it's just like your kids. Put them in the backyard. You two settle it. And Lippett settled it for a first down.
And how about Connor Cook? What a time to come up with your career high. He's from the 34. And they'll hand it off. Langford going outside. Langford just running guys over. Shazier finally making the tackle after Langford broke the tackle from Duran Grant.
Talking about Carlos Hyde and his ability to feed his pads to a defender. Jeremy Langford did that on that run.
Gained 8. 21 carries, 90 yards for Jeremy Langford. 2nd and 2 at the 26. Lippett in motion. They'll give it straight ahead. Langford still running. Touchdown, Spartans. And the extra point is good.
They go heavy. Fullback Pendleton. Big tight end Dennis, number 94. But watch how well this is blocked at the point of attack. Look at this. Look at that hole. Right there. Treadwell, 64. Dennis, 94. Right in the middle. And then off he goes to the races. You also had 63, Travis Jackson. Creates the gap. This is what coaches say. Offensive line, get the runner to the second level by the linebackers. Then let his recruiting take over.
The first 17, Ohio State the next 24. And the Spartans score 17 cents. Wilson. And Dontre Wilson. Finally taken down as he crosses. Braxton Miller under pressure. Miller elects to run it. And he'll get out of bounds. Miller winds up. And incomplete. Braxton Miller with time. Miller lets it go. And incomplete. Braxton Miller in trouble. Miller lets it go down the field for Philly Brown. Incomplete. Braxton Miller. Here's Miller to throw it. Incomplete. State 46. They hand it off to Langford. Langford spinning forward. Langford again. And a dive forward. Michigan State in the victory formation. Connor Cook takes a knee, and that will do it. The Michigan State Spartans defeat Ohio State 34-24, snapping the Buckeyes' 24-game winning streak, ending their hopes of a national championship. Michigan State will head to Pasadena for the first time in over 25 years and take on Stanford in the Rose Bowl.